Guys, welcome back. So I've been wanting to do a video for Comic-Con because I'm going to Comic-Con in a few days. And I gotta say, with every convention, it's stressful because there's so much to do and plan and see and go to and figure out. And if you're going with a group of people, it can be even that much more difficult since, you know, you're having to coordinate schedules. And I was just thinking of a few tips because, you know, a lot of people are just going from, you know, they live in California, they just have to drive a little bit. But I'm flying from another state, and, you know, I got to thinking about it. I said, this is really crazy because this is literally the first time in probably 9 years that I am going to be checking a bag on my flight, because I always carry on, but I'm dressing up at Comic-Con, so I can't really do that. So I was kind of thinking of the tips that I could personally bring to the table with people who might be flying to Comic-Con, and really this can apply to anywhere you fly. But I think when it comes to a convention, I personally become even more stressed out because it's like there's just so much to do, especially when you cosplay, and then you have to think about, okay, how am I going to get my cosplays to the convention safely? I know that if you're carrying props, I personally had to go and makeshift a box, tape it all up, put foam in it to cradle the staff that I had. You know, there's different ways to do it. I know that if you're mailing it to a hotel, you definitely need to talk to the hotel, because I've heard horror stories where things, you know, they're like, oh, this person isn't here, and they send it back and then they don't have it. Things get broken, you know, you have to have your fix kit with you, and if you don't have the Gorilla super glue, not the Gorilla Glue, the Gorilla brand super glue in your fix kit, you need to get that. You can get that at almost any grocery store, Target, Walmart, anything like that. It's pretty readily available, and I gotta tell you guys, that stuff is a freaking lifesaver, because if you don't have a plug to plug in your, you know, your hot glue gun, the super glue from Gorilla Glue is your best friend. Another thought I had about backpacks. There's a big debate about backpacks. And, you know, should you carry them, especially at Comic-Con? I've heard carry them on the front if you're in the exhibit hall, so you're not smacking people about with your bag. That's a good tip. You know, you want to keep things where it's readily available, like your cash. You know, preferably don't leave it on an outside pocket. My backpack actually has a pocket up against my back, like on the back of the bag. So you definitely want to buy a bag that will suit your needs. Definitely have your water bottle. I have a water bottle with a filter in it. Some people don't care about that, but it's definitely something to consider if you do. I say things like sunscreen, deodorant, a hat, umbrella, a poncho just in case it rains. You never know. This is one of those kind of conventions with as many people as there are. You need to literally plan and plan again. I'm telling you, research, plan, and execute. That's what I do. And research is your friend, people. Research the maps, the layouts of the venues, the schedules. You know, prioritize what you want to do and just kind of go with the flow. I mean, it's kind of shitty to say, but when it comes to Comic-Con, you kind of have to go in with low expectations, because there's so much going on. There's so many people lining up for things so early, and you kind of just have to make a plan, and then you make another plan. And I say have a plan A, have a plan B, and just kind of go with the flow. And don't forget about the things outside of Comic-Con. There are so many things outside of Comic-Con because all of downtown San Diego becomes a big party. There's so much happening. So don't forget about those things too, and give yourself a break, because there's so many people in this convention. I mean, honestly, this convention is so huge, and the venue is not necessarily large enough. And definitely bring throat lozenges, your vitamins, keep healthy, and get as much rest as you can. But I know when it comes to conventions, that's usually kind of an obsolete thing. Getting sleep is something a lot of people I know, convention goers, are like, huh, sleep? What's that? So, I mean, truthfully, another thought I had, speaking of the backpacks, for one, if I'm not going to have like a shirt, I'm going to have like a couple of costumes, and not all of them there's a couple of them that are strapless. And I was like, oh my God, my backpack is not going to be comfortable carrying it like that the whole time. So I had a little bit of a brilliant idea. They even have it on Amazon. I got it on Amazon Prime. You can probably find them elsewhere, but if you're in a time crunch, Amazon Prime is your friend. If you don't have Amazon Prime, I suggest you check it out for the 30-day free trial, because I didn't think I would keep it, but honestly, that a quick 2-day shipping and all that comes in so handy, guys. Like, especially when you're in a time crunch for a convention. But anyway, for my bag, I ended up getting furry seatbelt covers that I'm going to stick on the straps of my backpack just to make it more comfortable, because after a while, carrying that bag around is going to be crazy, and anything that I can do to make it more comfortable, I say do it, because it's real. The walking is real at Comic-Con, guys. I remember the first time I went to Comic-Con, oh my God, I was so overwhelmed. I had never been to a convention of this size. I was new to the convention game. I thought, oh, I'll dress up. It'll be fine. Guys, I wore heels. My feet felt like they were bleeding. They weren't, but they felt like they were. I mean, it was so overwhelming. There's so much sensory overload at Comic-Con. So it's really important to give yourself a break. Take, eat, drink, and just try to just have your plan. And, I mean, above all, have fun. It's definitely a fun convention, but for me, like I said, that first year, I didn't know what I was walking into. I didn't have a plan, and it wasn't that enjoyable for me. But the next year, oh, I planned down to a T, and it was great. So I'm a planner. Planning for me is what makes it good. So if you're the same way, you know what I'm talking about. But seriously, even if you're not necessarily a planner, I can't stress enough to research, because the schedule is so huge. The vendor room is so huge. The convention itself is enormous. And there's going to be things that you're going to want to hit. So you make your plan B, or you make your plan A and your plan B, and you just go with it. Like, do what you can, enjoy the convention within itself. And if you're one of those people that can stand in line all weekend to get into Hall H, Godspeed, and I wish you luck. I will be doing Hall H actually for Game of Thrones, as far as I know right now. I'm trying to get that worked out. So that is my plan as of right now. So I've never actually been in the Hall H line, and I'm doing it with other people if this all works out. So it should be a definite interesting experience. Now, granted, I won't be in it all night and all day. We're doing shifts, like I said, and it's going to be an interesting experience. So I'll probably post something from that, because I don't know, that's going to be interesting. But those people that can do it all weekend, more power to you. But there's so much going on at this convention. You really just have to prioritize what you want to do and really plan accordingly. And research and planning is really your best friend in this. And yeah, so that's what I say. I mean, definitely. Oh, and if you're traveling on a plane, and between your makeup and your toiletries and all that, my suggestion is get the contact cases in bulk. You can get it at Walmart, Target, Amazon, wherever. Buy those in bulk and use those, because those are a lifesaver. Those save so much room in your little 1-quart bag that you can only take on the plane. But then, of course, if you're checking a bag too, you can always put it in your check bag and have something bigger. But for me, I like to have everything that I know I'm going to need in my carry-on, because you never know with airlines. I have had an airline, lose 2 of my bags twice in life, and it's not a fun experience. So you definitely want to have what you absolutely need in your carry-on. That is one suggestion I would definitely put on my list, because I've even had to repack some things going, oh, I'm going to need that. So those are just some of my thoughts for Comic-Con. It's a really fun convention, but for me, it's a lot more fun when you plan. So if you're going to Comic-Con, maybe I'll see you there. And have an awesome con, guys. See you next time.